All right, Chem Gang, we're here for part two of electron filling based on the periodic table and the various notations. Last we left, we were aiming to get here. This was an electron address that we described as, let's see, well, it's the P block. These are the two P's, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this would be 6P, and it's the third one over. So we were working on 6P3. And that element would be bismuth, and it means we got to put in 83 electrons. And last we left, we were here at number 48 at cadmium. And there's a couple ways we could check that. The hard way is to look at the configuration that we wrote here in superscript notation and add up all the superscripts, because all the superscripts represent the electrons that were added to the lower energy levels. And when I say the lower energy levels, let me just switch screens and I'll show you the diagram, but you'll recognize the sequence: 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2. So here's that same sequence here. So 1s2 meant we put 2 electrons in this orbital, and 2s2 meant we put 2 electrons in this orbital, and 2p6 meant we put 6 total in these 3 orbitals, 2 in each, etc., etc. So we're following the sequence of orbitals from lowest energy to highest energy, and we got up here to where it says 4d10. Okay, so each superscript represents orbitals, so let's go back. Okay, so we're back, and if we add up all those superscripts, it should represent all the electrons we put in. So there's 2, and 2 more is 4, and 6 more is 10, and 2 more is 12, and 6 more is 18, and 2 more is 20, and 10 more is 30, 36, 38, and 10 more is 48. So we verify 48 electrons. Now that's the hard way, although it's a good way to make sure that we didn't make a mistake and skip anything. The other way is to just find 4d10 as an electron address. So that's in the D block, which is this section of the periodic table. We remember that the D's start with the 3 D's. So SPD, smart people don't. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's a pattern there that each block begins with the energy level that is counted out in the sequence SPDF 1, 2, 3, 4. So bottom line is these are the 3 Ds, so below it are the 4 Ds. And cadmium is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, counting 10 over. And we should know that the D block is 10 elements wide because there are 5 D orbitals, each of which must be filled with 2 electrons. Right. So very quickly, if you know your electron addresses, you know this should get us through 4d10. But we added up all the superscripts to make sure we hadn't missed anything. All right, now if you're level 2, you don't even have to be listening to this because we've already gone beyond what you need to do. You only have to do configurations up to 18. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go all the way to bismuth, and one of the benefits there is we're going to go through the F block for the first time, so level 1 students, you should see that. And then we're going to also show the alternate designations besides what we're doing now. This is sometimes called superscript notation in filling order, and there's 2 other versions of this that are sometimes useful. So we're just going to continue. So after 48, we're at 49. We're back in the P block. And again, we can count down 2, 3, 4, 5, or we can just look over here and say, oh, we last had the 4 P's. So, whoops, it shouldn't be superscripted. Now we have the 5 P's. Oops. Oh, that was strange. 5 P's. Oops. And that's going to be filled with 6 electrons because 6 only brings us to 54, and we're only going all the way to 83. So 5p6. And that means after 54, we come back over here to 55 and 56. Now we're back in the S block, and I'm just going to look down here. Last we had the 5 S's, so these must be the 6 S's. And of course, it's filled with 2 electrons. We haven't gotten to 83 yet. So we'll put those 2 electrons in. And now is where you have to be careful. And you'll also note that this periodic table is arranged a little bit differently from yours. We're not going to go into the details why, but essentially after 6s comes 4f. So there's a break in the periodic table here, and these elements need to be inserted in here. And sometimes they're inserted including lanthanum, and sometimes after lanthanum. It really doesn't matter. We're going to kind of go to the F block next, and there's a series of 14 elements. Again, this only gets us up to 71 electrons, but this is the F block, and the F block starts with the 4 F's. All right. And remember, smart people don't forget 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the fourth energy level is the first place where the F subshell appears. So these are the four Fs. And I already said they're filled with 14. We checked it only brings us to 71 electrons. It doesn't get us all the way to where we're going, so we'll fill that with 14. All right. And then we come back over here. Now, most periodic tables start 57 down here, and then 71 is right here. We're not going to worry about the difference because we're now going to go through the D block. Okay, and remember 3Ds, 4Ds, now the 5Ds. Okay, there's the 4Ds the last time we were in the D block, so these are the 5Ds. And it takes 10 to get across. Whoops, superscripted, of course. So it takes, what's going on here? There we go, 10 to get across. And we got to be careful now because now we're at 80 electrons, and we're only going to 83. All right, so we did need to fill the 5Ds, but we're not going to fill the next subshell. And it's obviously a P subshell. Last we had 5Ps, so this is the 6Ps that we're up to. And lo and behold, remember our electron address was 6P3. All right, and we can now see why it's 6P3. Oops, I clicked on the wrong thing. Because we're at 80 at mercury. To get over to bismuth, we have to add 1, 2, 3 more electrons. So those 3 are the superscript here. So now we should have 83 electrons. Remember, we had 48 here, and so this would make 54 and 56 and 70 and 80 and 83. So we've done it. Okay, we've gotten to the end. We verified it in a couple ways. Again, we sort of added up all the electrons to show that there are 83, and we're at the right address, 6P3. All right, so 2 more methods of showing the electron configurations. And these are just different ways of showing the same information. The first one is one that you're not going to have to use often, but is useful for one of the models that we're going to be doing. And it's called the standard form. And it basically takes these same orbitals and just rearranges them into a essentially an ordering by energy levels. I can't move that. So what I did is I copied the entire electron configuration, this configuration here. Oops, I left out 5d10 on these. So this configuration here is the same as the configuration above. And what we're just going to do is we're going to change this into the other notations. All right, so the first notation in standard form essentially just groups everything by energy levels together. And in the beginning, it's very simple because the configuration starts off with the first energy level, which just has this s orbital. And then you find the second energy level, which has the s's and the p's. It's the third energy level where things get a little bit tricky, and that's because of this orbital overlap. All right. And if we go back to the diagram that we just saw, we'll see where that orbital overlap comes from. So here's 2 ways at looking at that orbital overlap. I think we saw it before, but here the 3Ds have not filled until the 4S's have filled, because 3D is above 4S. And here's another way of looking at it over here, where the third energy level is split. So this is the average third energy level, but the 3Ds are above average, which makes them a little bit higher energy. And while the fourth energy level is on average well above the third energy level, the 4S's are below average for the fourth energy level. So they're down here, and this is that little overlap. So what that means is, pretty simply, when we're doing the configuration, the 3's are not all together anymore. They've been interrupted by the 4's. All right, so all we're going to do in the standard form is cut out these 3D's here and put them with their brothers. Okay, so now all the 3's are together, and we'll create a little space, and now we have all of the third energy level together. Okay. For the fourth energy level, there's even more overlaps because we have the S's here, the P's here, then there's a skip until we have the D's, and there's a couple of skips until we have the F's. So we definitely have to do a bunch of cutting and pasting here. What I'm going to do is move the 5 S's over, so the 4 D's are here, and then I'm going to move the 4 F's over. All right, and now all the 4's are together. So we have the 4 S's, the P's, the D's, and the F's. All right, and we're almost done. Now we have to kind of split up the 5's and the 6's. So 5D is split off from the 5S and the 5P, so I'll move that over here and create some space. Whoops, space in the wrong spot. create some space over here. So now we have the standard form. First energy level, second energy level, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. So there is a couple advantages really to do this. We'll discuss them later on. Okay. One of them, by the way, is it shows what we call the valence electrons, which we'll talk about more in the next unit. The other one is that this is helpful for drawing the Bohr model, which we'll also use in the next part of the unit. All right, the final method down here, you're going to like this one because it's a shortcut. It's known as the noble gas shortcut. So before we start the noble gas shortcut, we just need to explain the noble gases very quickly. This periodic table is keyed with the noble gases in white. So it's this group all the way at the right side of the periodic table, which is a really important group for a couple of reasons. We'll learn more about it in upcoming parts of the unit. But there's a reason for using this group here, and it's that these elements have what's called a full valence shell. So more on that later, but again, it's easy to find them. So the idea of the noble gas shortcut is to take one of these elements and replace all of its electrons with the element symbol in a square bracket. And the way to do it is find the noble gas that comes right before, or at least closest before, your element on the periodic table. And the easy way to do that is just to go up to the next row, which is sometimes called the period. So if we're here at bismuth 83, we go up to the next row and we find the noble gas, which is xenon 54. That noble gas, by the way, will have the atomic number that is highest without being above your element. Okay, so the next noble gas has a higher atomic number. We can't use that one. So we're also looking for the highest noble gas atomic number before our element, and it's always in the row above. Right. So what this means is xenon has 54 electrons. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace xenon's 54 electrons with just the symbol for xenon in square brackets. Right. And to know how many I'm replacing, we could use that address thing again. Okay, so xenon is in the P block. Okay, it's all the way at the end, which has to be the sixth element over because this is 6 elements wide. And we just have to count. This is the 2 P's, 3, 4, 5. All right, so xenon would be represented by 5p6, which is right here. Okay, so if we count all the electrons from here to the left, there should be 54, and we kind of did that before because 4d10 was 48, and here's 6 more. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace all of this just with a square bracket and the elemental symbol. Okay, that's it. Okay, so this represents the 54 electrons in xenon, and this represents the remaining electrons we would have to add to get to 83 for bismuth. And again, thinking about moving along the periodic table, you have to put 2 in the 6s. Then we go through the F block with 14, and then the D block with 10, and then the 3 more. So that's all down here. Right. So if you've done the superscript notation, you're basically just replacing a whole bunch of it with a symbol for a noble gas. And then the remaining electrons appear here. All right, so that's it. Again, regular superscript notation, standard form, which groups by energy levels, and then the noble gas shortcut. Those are your superscript notations for electron configurations. Note this is an alternative to the orbital notation, which is the one we first used to show the electron configurations. All right, so I hope this was useful to you. You know where to find me if you've got questions.